What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Dad Does Videos. It's summer. A lot of people get married in the summer, and those newly married people turn into new homeowners. So I thought I'd do a video of tips for new homeowners, just general things about your house that you should be thinking about or taking care of soon after you move into your house. And we're not going to get into anything that would be uncovered by an inspection. Also, when I'm going through these things, you might see a link pop up in the corner of your screen. If you want a little bit more information about what I'm talking about at that point, go ahead and click on that. It'll link you to another video and you'll get more detailed information. Let's start right at the front door here. Make sure you change your locks when you move into a new home. And I'm not just talking about the front door. If there's a side door, a back door, a patio door, anything like that, you have no idea who has the keys to get into your new home. And a simple call to the locksmith can remedy this situation. Relatedly, if you have a keypad that allows you to get into one of your garage doors, make sure you change the code on that too. And since we're in the garage, it is a good idea to maintain your garage door. We've got the spring up here, and we've got all the brackets and pieces and parts on the side. You want to make sure you lubricate those parts about every 6 months or so to keep your garage door working in good order. Eventually, you're gonna wanna actually get a tune-up from a garage door company as well. Make sure you clean your gutters and your downspouts or hire someone to do that. If they are not clean, they will overflow with water, which makes it easier for that water to get into your basement and harm your foundation as well. At the same time, if you have downspouts that go into underground drainage, be sure to clean those out. If not, again, the water will bubble up from the drainage that goes underground and settle right around your house. And again, that leads to problems in your basement and your foundation with water getting in there. Get some faucet covers to put over your faucets after you disconnect the hose in the wintertime. These do a great job of keeping the faucets insulated so they do not freeze, and you do not want a frozen faucet. That is a great way, again, for water to get inside of your home. Be sure to clean your dryer vent or have someone come to your house and clean your dryer vent. There are plenty of stories that you can find on the internet that showcase how fires can easily start with a dirty dryer vent. If you have a sprinkler system, make sure you test it, or you hire someone to come out and test it as well. Make sure all the sprinklers are working properly, the pressure is correct for each of the sprinklers, and make sure that backflow preventer is working properly as well. If you have gas coming into your home, make sure you know how to turn off the gas in case of an emergency. Now, not all gas meters are the same. This is ours, but they all have this valve located somewhere on them. When it runs parallel to the pipe it's connected to, that means the gas is flowing. If you take a wrench to this and turn it counterclockwise and make it perpendicular to the pipe it's attached to, that means the gas is off and not coming into your home. Make sure you know how to turn off the water that's coming into your house, whether a pipe burst or maybe there's another leak somewhere in the house. You're gonna want to be able to turn off the water very urgently to minimize the damage that any of those incidents have done. Typically, you'll see a valve like this attached to your water meter. You just want to turn it so it's perpendicular to the pipe that it's attached to. If you have a sump pump in your basement, I would suggest getting a battery-operated backup sump pump for your basement as well. That way, when the power goes out and or you receive too much rain, you can feel comfortable knowing your basement will not flood. Also, I would suggest not getting a battery where you have to constantly fill it every 6 months with distilled water. Get one that you can set and forget. All right, so this is our HVAC system. You want to make sure to change the air filters in your system once a month. In fact, go ahead, if you're watching this and you just moved into a house, you probably want to check what's in there today, because I wouldn't be surprised if it was old and dirty. But get in the habit of replacing these once every month. Oftentimes, HVAC techs will write on the outside the size of the air filter, or you can simply open the flap, if there is a flap, and grab the filter from inside, and you could see down below here the dimensions of it. And speaking of HVAC units, it's a great idea to get a tune-up right before the summer months for your AC unit and right before the winter months for your furnace. Go find that reputable HVAC company, get them in. Typically the tune-ups are anywhere from 70 to 100 bucks, but they will drastically prolong the lifespan of your unit. Go ahead and get some new fire alarms for your house. You can get them for about 15 bucks each or so. Typically the lifespan of these is about 10 years. You don't know when that homeowner bought these and in what condition they are. It's a simple investment, could save your life. If you have gas coming into your home, go ahead and pick yourself up a few carbon monoxide detectors. I like the ones with the digital readout, so it'll tell you the level of carbon monoxide in your house if it detects anything, and it will also chirp at you as well. Tons and tons of people get sick every year from undetected carbon monoxide, and it can be fatal as well. So go ahead and protect yourself and your family. If you have tree branches that are a little too close to your home, make sure you cut those back or hire someone to cut those back. If you don't, they provide great highways for squirrels, raccoons, other animals to get into your house, and nobody wants that. All right, lastly, this doesn't have anything to do with a specific part of your house, but something that you can plan for. And I'm talking about setting up an emergency fund for bigger purchases, unexpected purchases that will eventually pop up during the time that you own your home. So whether it's the water heater going out, maybe you need a new air conditioning unit, maybe your refrigerator goes out, maybe something happened to your siding that isn't covered by insurance, maybe windows need to be replaced, anything like that. It's a great idea to establish an emergency fund and have a goal of putting a certain amount of money into that fund every month, so that when that unexpected expenditure happens, you are ready to pay for it, even if it can't cover all of it, but you're ready with a certain amount that you wouldn't have had if you didn't start saving for it.